Hello everyone, welcome back to Consultant Chronicle. I'm Mark Thompson. I have a special guest with us today. His name is Joe McGee. He's a local author. I'm going to have Joe do a proper introduction. And then at the end of our episode, I want to talk about our plans for the near future of Consultant Chronicle. Hey Joe, welcome.
Thanks, Mark.
All right.
Glad to be here.
So, tell us, you're an author. You've written a book that I've read, and that's the main reason why you're here. I picked up on a number of tips, first of all, in the book that can help us, whether you're in business, whether you're doing IT, it doesn't matter, all around. There's some very good advice in this particular book. Why don't you hold your book up to that camera so people can see this?
Yeah, so this is a book, Leadership Lessons Inspired by a 6-Year-Old. And we just did a remastered cover with a theme. You can see the apple, and there's a story behind the apple. And I'll tell you a quick story about the apple is, oftentimes my daughter is consistently trying to get a snack before dinner. And what the good part of it is she tends to eat fruit, strawberries, apples. And one time I caught her, I said, hey, I told you nothing before supper. So one particular day she put a half-bitten apple back in the basket. And I thought this would be a great theme for my remastered edition, was the symbolic meaning of the apple has a meaning to the book.
Oh, very good, very good. I love that story. Page 8 in your book.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping for this episode you could spend a few minutes and explain something that I see here. I believe you call it the LTA Principle. Can you tell me what that is? And then I want to get into some details.
Sure. So the LTA Principle stands for learn it, teach it, apply it. And basically what it is it's a concept that I came up in my corporate world based on a principle that started with my 6-year-old. Chapter 3 talks about the LTA principle in the book. And the first phase is learn it. Do you want me to go in detail about that?
Yeah.
So
page 8.
Learn it. Page 8
right,
in the book.
Learn it principle. I want to read something here. It says the first thing for the learn it principle is to assign your employee a project they know nothing about. That could be scary, but
it can be scary. I think the reason that we do it, many folks in business will do it the other way, is they'll assign an SME, a subject matter expert, to lead a project. That can be good, but it could also be bad. The bad part about doing it that way is the SME, they don't really learn anything from that experience. They already know the project. So by assigning an employee a project they know nothing about, it's benefiting that employee. They're learning a topic I'm giving them. They're going to find resources. They're going to talk to people. They're going to identify the project. They're going to build it. They're going to make a PowerPoint. And they're going to take that PowerPoint and talk to the group about it. So they're learning. That's where the learn it principle comes in.
All right, Joe. So on page 9, the teach it principle. I'm going to read again, all right, before I have you talk about this. Teach it principle. We will establish a date in which they will present their project to the team. Are you saying these guys are going to end up teaching?
They are, and I'll kind of explain that. So what we do, and this could be any business segment, my particular focus is from a call center environment, but you can do this anywhere. In the call center environment, we're very time oriented. So when I say they will actually take the time to do it, is I'm going to give them the time off the phone I give them a month, 30 days. And in that 30 days, it could be an hour, 2 hours a day, they're talking to people. And once they have the project built, that's where they're teaching others. Is the final presentation will be done. And in an informal gathering, they have the finished product, it's usually a PowerPoint, and they're actually teaching what they wrote in the PowerPoint to others. So this topic could be anything. And in the topic, they're actually being the subject matter experts because they're teaching a product they know nothing about to others.
So they're accountable as well.
They are very accountable.
Good. Very good, very good. Okay, all right, thank you. And then the apply it principle. I'm not going to read anymore, Joe, because you're doing great here. Tell us about the apply it principle.
Sure. So the apply is the last phase of the LTA principle, and what that really speaks to is I have my finished product, but the last phase is the applying. They're demonstrating it. So let's say I gave them a product on, I'm just making this up, and you're going to like this, PowerShell. Let's just say I learned PowerShell, right? I made maybe a quick PowerPoint, But the practical is the apply. I'm playing with PowerShell. All right, see this page 4 in my presentation? This is how you do it. I'm showing people how to do it. I'm practically applying it. And then usually, if you have the right environment, we videotape that demonstration, and then we share it out to the group.
Okay.
So it's practical.
Very good. Very good. All right. So Joe, you also list some bulleted points here, benefits.
Mm-hmm.
If we apply all these principles, there's some great benefits. I'm going to pick on 2 of them.
Sure.
And maybe you could elaborate a little bit here. Builds confidence.
Mm-hmm.
If we apply this LTA principle, builds confidence. Employee retention.
Yep.
Sense of accomplishment. Let's talk about employee retention.
That's a great one. Let me give you some tips on how that would benefit the employee as a whole. You may not know this, but right now 87% of the global workforce right now today is not fully engaged at work. That means only 13% of your employees are engaged. So you start looking around, that's scary because people can leave, people can go on. Their mind is wandering, they're not fully engaged, they're not active, they're not doing more. By doing the LTA principle, it forces them to be engaged, get their mind off their daily routine, and it gives them the opportunity to actually do this project, and not do it, but nail the project and really deliver it. And that keeps them engaged and alive at work.
Makes a lot of sense. It's great. Well, this time I'm holding the book up. Okay, we've had Joe McGee, a great author, and his book, you should have seen the other cover as well. This is a great cover, and there was a story with that other cover as well.
Yes.
But we'll talk about that if you come back on our Consultant Chronicle. Joe, where can we get the book?
So the book, Leadership Lessons Inspired by a 6-Year-Old, can be found on Amazon.com, Amazon UK for my friends in the United Kingdom, and Barnes & Noble or booksamillion.com.
Tell them about Twitter. How do you have an interesting Twitter handle, I guess they call it.
I do. That's a great point. So my Twitter handle is Scorpion King CT. And if you get to read in the book, I believe chapter 14, hopefully I don't misspeak. Chapter 14 is called Fear is for Suckers. And there's actually scorpions in it.
Okay.
And that's where the Scorpion King Twitter comes from. Is before my time having my children, I used to be an avid collector of live scorpions.
Okay.
And that was my thing.
All right. Very good, Joe. Thanks for your time, Joe. We do appreciate it. Team, we're going to take the rest of the summer off. We had to come out and get some sunshine here. We've been in studios and traveling and working. And you've met my colleague, Scott. And Scott is across the country on some fancy vacation. Okay, so he's putting pictures on Facebook. But anyway, we've decided to take the rest of the summer off. We'll be back in the fall. We're going to have a new format. So we do appreciate you folks tuning in and following along with us here at Consultant Chronicle. Thanks again for watching. My name is Mark Thompson, and I've had Joe McGee, our author, with us. And Joe, you're going to come back in the future.
I'd be honored to come back.
Great. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Okay, we'll see you guys next time.